Good morning, New Eden. Today is July 14th, 2024, and this is the Federation Frontline Report. I'm your host, Frozen Fallout, and my co-host is Nightflyer. How's it going?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Things are going great. For those of you that tune into the show regularly, I haven't been here the last couple of weeks, but I've been on a little break, Frozen. I've been taking an Eve break after 4.5 years of playing every day with five Omega characters and one Alpha that I just spun up a little while ago. Yeah, it's become a second job. I love Eve, but just needed to take a step back, and with that, I made some big game choices.
Yeah, tell
So
us what's been going on in the realm of. I hear that Nightflyer, the character in Eve, has been going through some changes.
yeah, along with all of that, um, Nightflyer has been with Noir for the past 3 years, and when they were with the Glente in faction warfare, it was really good. Being like kind of part of the faction warfare show was kind of a good thing for us, and a Glente specific. I've had an alt. Mango Pizza has been in since I got into faction warfare, and then when Noir and the network made that change over, um, it was kismet. It was meshing. I was able to dual box and work on my dual boxing, and that was great. But since then, the network has folded, and Noir has joined Tempest Kelsiv, which are a great group of guys. But yeah, there's just a contingency within within Noir that wanted to go pirate, and I think Tempest Kelsiv already was doing Gurmil Guristas,
Yeah, they
and
had just split like from there was like a divide that happened in that corporation
yeah,
over that whole thing, and so a bunch of corps left the alliance, and they had like a not civil war per se because it's.
an amicable split. So so that kind of pulled me out, and I was kind of interested in it because I'm like, oh, I can do the pirate stuff, and if we're out doing the pirate incursions and that kind of thing, that's cool. That would be great. However, most of those guys, since we had already stacked ships and did everything, were pirating out of Hades, where
Yeah,
where the Glinte, yeah, where my alt is and where I've been playing in. So it really had this kind of conflict where I can't be on my alt fighting with one guy's 1 minute and then be on my main and shooting them the next. I am just not that kind of person in game or in real life, so I wouldn't do that.
yeah, you
So
got labeled a spy for a little while.
I did,
So
I
you had
did.
to
I
like.
had to fight with Chauny. I had you on it and Alec, and they actually went to the powers that be and said, no, he's not going to do that. And so I appreciate all of those people stepping up, including you, for doing that and letting my letting Mango Pizza stay in faction warfare, because that's really what I think I kind of love in the game where I've been going, and that kind of led to the other problem. So I talked to the Alec, Alexei of Card, as a lot of you know, friend of the show, host of Declaration of War, and CEO of Noir, and my real life friend, so who I met in game. But we've done rock climbing, we do good stuff. Like I said, I really like Alec. He is one of the best FCs in the game. If you get a chance to fly with him, it's an experience. It's fun. So I talked with Alec and was like, yeah, I think I'm going to retire from Noir. And he's like, we got some things going, which I guess we talked about the wormhole. So they're like, yeah, we're going to start up this wormhole, and we're going to be doing some stuff out of there, and it'll help with contracts. We'll contract out of wormholes. I'm like, okay, we've been doing some of that. It might make it a lot easier for us. I've been in wormholes before, not my favorite thing. But I figured if I had an actual structure behind me where I had, a corporation or an alliance behind me too, where we can do all the shipping, we can do all the trading, we can do all the buying and all that. And it's not just me doing it solo. It might be kind of enjoyable. But after a couple months, it's not. It's wormhole life. It's just not where I see myself in game. And so it just got to the point where the last couple of months, I have been flying Mango Pizza every night and haven't been doing anything with Nightflyer. And I'm like, well, Nightflyer is supposed to be my main, and Mango Pizza is supposed to be my alt. And they've totally switched. And I'm like, I'm not exactly happy with that. So um, I wasn't happy with my gameplay. I was getting frustrated. I was kind of getting angry with it. And I'm like, look, this is a game. And if I'm not enjoying it, then I'm not going to play it. So taking the advice of Rushlock and Marquis Dragon and all those people that I've been watching for years have always said that, you know, it's fun for hours what you got to be playing for, and if you're
Yeah.
not having fun, then. And so that's what I did. So I just made the hard choice, and yeah, I flew my last op with Noir a couple weeks ago and ended up dropping Corp, and now I'm just kind of in a holding pattern. Well, so going back to the mercenary life, we've kind of hinted about it throughout the show, but I want to put some stuff really specific out there for people. I loved doing the merc life. I thought it was very interesting. It was very content driven for a new pilot who didn't really understand or know, and I still really have an issue with going out and finding content of my own. Finding content of my own is I fly out, see somebody in space, and they kill me. So um but when I got part of Noir, it was we're going here, this is what we're doing, and here is the fleet comps that we're going to be using. Now, that's all exciting. It was good work. I learned so much about stuff that I wasn't going to learn on my own or through faction warfare. And again, I really like the pilots I flew with. Like I said, there were a lot of people I consider friends in game and out. So, but you start running into problems. Now, everybody in faction warfare I know of has a shipping alt. You're going to have somebody that does all your shipping for you. They do all your marketing for you. They go to Jita, they buy and sell stuff. And the same thing, you're going to have that with Noir. But the difference is I said we have a home system. We're in Yavang here. We're in Hatilas right next door. So this is our home system. We always work from here. When you are a mercenary, you don't have a home system. You might have places you go back to.
Right, yeah, it's
But
much more working out of forward operating bases all the
right.
time, and then you have like where you have your home base, but you're always moving, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's like being in the military, like
Yeah, but you have to bring your ships with you. So if you have a carrier or you have um, enough space in a hall, you can bring a handful of ships, but you're going to have to bring those out to the contract area that you're going to. And that logistics is a thing. Now, Noir does have some resources in the game that you can contact and work with, and they'll ship your stuff for you. But you got to kind of be ready for that and plan for that. And there's an expense with that.
there's a
And
social interaction that
yeah.
it's not it's business related social interaction rather than it's like
Right.
it's the one of the it's the thing that I don't like about the barrier that there is there that people I don't think some people that once you've kind of gone through that social interaction and you've created like a rapport with somebody regarding that business transaction that you're trying to do, um, it can get really easy to do that. But there is a bunch of mechanics in this game, like selling LP. Like it seems like a daunting task to me, not because it's a daunting task, it's you have to do the social interaction that is required
Mm-hmm.
for all of it, follow all the procedures and everything, and get it right once, and then start working on that kind of thing, and you can start working on actually you know building that relationship with people and selling your LP to their corporation, and you can just sell LP straight up, which is kind of a really interesting mechanic that has been kind of added into the game. But there's that social barrier that's there, and the
Yeah.
same thing with when it comes to like contracting and getting people to move items and stuff out for you. First of all, you have to have a reason to move out a bunch of shit usually, like
Mm-hmm.
the cost that it's going to hinder you is going to be so great that it's the better thing to do is get a bunch of shit all at one time with one jump freighter jumping it out for you. So you have to have that massive need for a large quantity of shit to come in for you if you're going to use a jump freighter service. And then you have the social contract of working through the system that's not just an easy in-game click click, here you go, now now my items will get to me in the next 2 weeks. There is a little bit possibility for that, putting things up on contract, and learning that system is pretty, and you don't really have to have any social interaction, you just wait for your contract to be picked up by somebody. But then you have to go package the items, get it, you already have to go to Jeddah, get all the shit, put it all into a thing, and then get it so that it becomes something that you can move. I've always found the moving around in Eve is one of the reasons why I have come to faction warfare and I want to stay here forever. Is because I'm just done. I've been all over the entire fucking galaxy. I've been in the north, I've been in the south, I've been in Delve, I've, fucked around in the drone regions. Like, there's, I've been to Providence, I've been all over this fucking game. And having a steady home is one thing that was very appealing to me in faction warfare, and that was one thing that when I was part of the network with Noir, I liked the concept of contracts and everything like that. I would have liked them maybe more if they were during my time zone, because I was always working whenever a lot of big operations were going. But the idea of also having to move our shit, like the contracts that were in Galente space were awesome. When it was part of the war, that was a cool kind of thing that we got to do, and that was really easy. But the puppy dog. I did find, though, that, whenever we did have to move or stuff like that, it was always just a very daunting task. And I much prefer, like, what I did this morning, which is, just a couple hours ago, an hour ago, basically.
A frozen morning starts at 2 p.m.
Right. And so when I started the game up, though, and I just jumped on, got the game going, got my stream going, just wanted to go out and do some PvP before we got the podcast going, especially since normally we would be kind of airing at that time, and we have had a couple weeks off for the holiday, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go, hang out in a scout and see what happens, and I got 4 or 5 fights, I think 5 fights, 3 kills, 1 death, 1 tie, where I pushed off a fire tail from me. And so that was in 30 minutes, basically, I had 3 fights. Within an hour, I had, 5 altogether. 1 that I lost, but, all of them were pretty much solo PvP fights, and, and I also, I did get another fight with a stabber as well. And then I got caught by a MOA, but I was able to web him down and move away from him and get out of his stram range, and then finally burn off and warp off, which ended in another tie. I was not expecting to land at 0 on him, and I was going down pretty hard. But yeah, the just jumping on, getting some content and doing a thing that also I didn't need to interact with anybody except for the people I was PvPing against, and stream and stuff like that. But I mean, it was like, I could just jump on, go out, find some fights, solo PvP content, and, also trying to achieve an objective. I was trying to flex. I was trying to get LP because I wanted to get my daily objective. So I made a thing and I just needed 50 LP, and so when I got my first kill, I was like, oh, daily objective accomplished, like, mission accomplished, we got to fight, we got to kill, like, and the ability to undock and do that shit, like, within 1 jump of me, 2 jumps of me is, it's like no other area of the game have I had that.
Yeah.
like I did more moving around when I was mission running. Like
Yeah, I've had, with the time zones and stuff like that, I've had ops that I move ships to an area for the op, and then because of work or personal life, missed the op and didn't take part in it at all. And so if you don't take part in the op, you don't get paid for the op. So um, that was that. I mean, there are other things in place. A lot of players in Noir will put stuff out on contract for cost, so they're not really making anything on it, which is nice. So if you're flying out to region of space, and you can go
that
there and
was
say, okay,
really
well,
nice.
there's
Yes.
typhoons here, there's stuff here that we can use, and that are part of the desired comp. So things have progressed over the last 3 years where there's that. Handout ships are more readily available. They have a hangar you can go to. Like I had a slew of ships that I could log into just about any time and have my pick of, in the Noir hangar. So when I was doing faction warfare, I had very little ships actually in Hades that I had, because I'd blown up most of my ships, so I just took the handouts. And I mean, they would. Alex pretty good about paying ships that if you blow them up in contract or doing something contract related. But it's got to be something within their doctrine. Makes sense. I mean, I think I don't know of any of the corporations that'll, if you're flying a blinged out whatever and you fly stupidly and lose it, they're not gonna, they're not
No,
gonna
yeah.
cover you.
Ship
Ship
replacement program is their doctrine
SRP, yeah.
ships, like you
Yeah,
don't
so Alex good at
get
that.
ratting,
He's yeah. But it was nice. I mean, I loved being able to go out, do some content, meet an objective, and then end up with 800 mil in my wallet. Was nice, and that happened. It happens a few times. So it's exciting, and again, I enjoyed that. But it just got a little hectic. Like I said, as my timing got a little rougher, work got a little rougher, families got a little rougher. It's just the nomad lifestyle just got more difficult. And I ended up with ships all over the place that I wasn't flying, and I'm like, I've got billions and billions in ships all over space, and I don't want to just leave them there in the hopes that maybe someday we get another contract back in that system. So that's a lot of what I've been doing. But again, I'm not trying to rag on the lifestyle. I really enjoyed it for a long time. But things just kind of changed for me personally and within games. So it was just time to go. I hope I left Noir on good terms. I hope, they found me an asset when I was there. And if, the day comes where I want to go back, I hope, they're willing to take me back. But I think as of for now, I know I'm going to focus on faction warfare. Nightflyer's literally just been the last 2 weeks that I've not been playing Eve. Has been flying around, literally picking up his loot, picking up his ships, bringing stuff out of Jita, bringing stuff out of Thera, and just pulling them towards the Galente area. So I have access to my Typhoons. I have access to my Leshaks. If something happens like that where I need a $1.2 billion Leshak, it's right there. I'm not waiting for a handout, from one of the sugar daddies, so I can bring in my own stuff. So that's kind of where my focus is right now. So it'll probably be early August. Nightflyer will come over to the Federation front line and come in, as long as you accept them, I guess.
Oh yeah, oh for sure, man. We'd love to have Nightflyer hanging out with us.
And I really hope I can start doing more of the dual boxing with him and Mango. I've been trying to come up with a couple of weird comps. I want to do kind of like I would like to do like a supportive kind of thorax comp between the two. I don't know if you could put some type of armored drones in them and
interesting.
keep the two of them working off each other, if that would be any good at all with the loss of that damage with the EHP help. I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out some comps there. Obviously the Algos comps are good together. Vexor comps. I've got those set up so that I can dual box those.
That's
And
awesome.
I don't know about you, but I can fly 2 ships as long as they're the same ship or
Yep.
extremely similar. Like I can fly an Omen and an Executor Navy issue, but I can't fly an Executor and an Executor Navy issue.
No, yeah, Logi and a DPS. Like I've heard horror stories. I've seen horror stories. I've
Frozen's
seen it
low
work.
on armor.
Let me
Frozen's
shoot
low on
you.
armor. Let me shoot him. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Especially
Whoops.
when you have like healing. Like the other thing that I find to be really dangerous is just in general, especially with faction warfare, is if you're healing somebody, that's what you should be doing. And you might be able to get some kill mail whoring going on where you're like, okay, I'm gonna use my drones to assign it to somebody, or else I'll target the guy and then kind of turn it off. But you got to be really careful about being a DPS ship that heals because you will shoot your friends. I have seen it. I have done it. I have.
I think anybody's done it. You've been in enough fleets, and you're going to accidentally put some DPS on your own guys from time to time.
Especially when you're remote seaboing them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
Oops.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I've been doing a lot of moving of stuff as well. I've been moving into Hadeles a lot more and kind of stationing myself out of there, more focused on doing a lot of. I've been actually like hitting up the market and doing some market PvP, which has been kind of fun.
I've been trying to follow you a little bit because you've been doing that, and I know you've been doing some wormhole excursions too. So
yeah, we've been doing.
You want to tell us a little bit about your wormholing?
Yeah, so me and my buddy Coder. So Coder, who got me into this game in the beta, was the one who found this game because we were on a beta kick. We were poor, 18-year-olds in 2000 and no, I was 19 in 2003. And we were working shitty jobs.
The booming farm fields of mid-Madison or mid-Wisconsin.
Mid Marshfield, Wisconsin, and
the booming metropolis that is Marshfield.
Yep. And so I, we were always looking. We were playing like Neocron. We were playing a little bit of Ultima Online. Was the big thing, but we wanted to find ones that were free and we didn't want to pay the subscription fee, so we were looking for beta games. So we got in on EVE Online, and so I looked at the game, I looked around, they gave you a ship and they were like, go, here's your Corvette, it's got a gun and a miner, it's all for you, it's all for you, the whole universe is for you to have. And I was like, okay. So I turned it off after like not knowing how to fly to a gate, like not understanding anything about the UI, and it was like really.
Of course.
Like, I mean, you see, like, if you think the UI sucks now, you should go back to 2003. It was horrendous.
Yeah. Oh, and again, this game has been around for what, 16, 17 years when I started playing, and I hadn't really heard about it or anything. And up to that point, I've never bought a subscription for a game. I never played anything like that, I had bought games, that I could put in my Sony PlayStation, that kind of stuff. But as far as PC stuff, never really did much of that. But once I had played EVE every day for 2 months, it was one of those things, like, kind of once I started playing, it became kind of part of me. If that sounds right. And once I accepted that, I'm like, all right. I said it only makes sense at this point to start getting a subscription.
Yeah, so, I mean, EVE becomes a whole nother, like, additional universe that you have access to, and not everybody does. It's like one of those things where, like, there's a whole ecosystem going on here, all these stories that are going on, all this, like, I mean, I remember being a bright-eyed, just, oh my god, that Megathron looks so fucking awesome. I can't wait to get into a Megathron. Like, that's going to be so cool. Like, just getting excited to destroy a battleship NPC. Like, to kill a battleship because, like, level 1s, 2s, and 3s, like, every once in a while in a 3 you get a battleship. And it was like, oh, that's fucking, like, oh, it's going to be the big the big fight, man. Like,
Nah, get some payout
um,
on this one.
oh my god, man! Like it just Eve is just like its own special thing. Um, and so he got me back into the game in 2006 after he'd been playing for a year, and had gotten a bunch of his friends to play, a bunch of my friends, and he was like, I was finally like, okay, I've got some money that I can put, aside for $15 a month. I can do that. And so I sat down and started playing the game again in 2006, and it was a lot of fun. He had his own corporation and stuff, and so he's been playing this game for a long time. He's been taking breaks and stuff like that. He's much more of an industrialist and a wormholer, but he does wormhole dives. So
Hmm.
he lives out of one station in Lowsec, and then just whatever he can find around him, he goes in and checks it out, and likes to do the hacking and scanning and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that
see,
part of the game is really fun for him. So
I could do that. I could do the wormhole diving, but again, I've tried it twice now to do wormhole living, and it's just not my thing.
it feels like too much work for me to
Right? It's
just
like there's
to
this whole added thing, and I can understand why people like that. And if you like it, you like it. But for it just wasn't my thing. Like again, I gave it 2 tries, and I didn't like it. I did all my PI, and it was great. I was making 200 mil in PI, and you know, it was that easy. But I don't know. Like it was just a whole new layer to the game. I just didn't enjoy it. Like I said, I think faction warfare is just where my heart's at right now, and I think I am.
I also feel like
That's what I want to do. I
faction
just
warfare is also, I believe, there's like there's a bunch of different people that play faction warfare, but there's a few different types that I've kind of identified, and one of them is it's the retirement home, and that's where I'm at. Like I'm kind of retired from Eve, but I play Eve a bunch, but I like no longer give a fuck. Like I'm not. if I get something lost or whatever, am I making money? I don't know.
yeah, I don't care
Um,
anymore.
it's the market PvP. I'm kind of excited to do because like I've set up a bunch of stuff in Hades where buy orders and sell orders, and
Mhm.
I've built out a spreadsheet. Because people are like, oh, it's spreadsheets in space because it looks that way. No, it's spreadsheets in space because if you want to get serious with Eve, you need to get an Excel sheet or a Google worksheet out, some kind of worksheet out to like plan out and look at what does it cost here, how much can I make profit here, what are all the items that I need, and
Mhm.
to keep a list of this kind of concept, keep it down on paper. And so like what I did is I went through all of my fittings, all the ships that I fly, and I've kind of cut myself down to really trying to only fly the Navy ships because the
Mhm.
idea is that I will get a bunch of the blueprints, bring them to Hades. I've been using the buy order system and also hauling in some stuff, like the lighter stuff, but I've been using the buy order system to get tons of trit. Like people have been just handing me fistfuls of trit, and it's
Yeah.
because I put it up for a good price because I'm paying you to ship it here. I know that you're not just this is not somebody had to haul this shit here. They're not
Mhm.
mining in Hain. Like there's maybe some um,
Well, there's something to be said about that too. I mean, if you know what Trit is selling for in Jita, which then I don't have to go to Jita and buy it. Like I can put on buy order here for what you can sell it for in
it's
Cheetah,
it's a whole
and now
different
you don't
game.
have to ship it. You're doing me a favor by letting me buy it from you, and I am going to pay more than what the local market is asking because again, you're helping me out. I've done that. I think I've got some buy orders up. I saw nobody else had buy orders up, so I'm like, I'm hoping people are willing to sell this stuff to me, so I don't have to ship this stuff in.
Yep. So I went
'Cause-
through every one of my fittings that I have for my like main doctrine ships that I'm kind of building out right now, which is going to be my 4000 series ships that I've got a Cat 4000, an ENI 4000, a Comet 4000, a Thrasher 4000. And so I went through the whole list and I was like, okay, these are all the items that I'm, need for these ships. So I went and got a whole shitload of that from Jitta, right? But I also was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'll put in buy orders for all of these things at a reasonable price, making it a little bit, not, it's not like I'm buying buy order, or like a buy order that is higher than a sell order, but it's going to be a decent price that I'm asking for a lot of the items that I'm looking for, like maybe 10% lower than what the sell, or if you would try and do a sell order, would be. Um, and then the thing about Hade is that Hade has really astronomical prices on a lot of these items. So I just brought them down to reasonable, where if you sell to me and I resell it, I will make probably about a 20% profit after taxes,
Which is
give or
always good.
take,
Yeah.
depending on
Real
the
world, you're
items.
paying 20%'s good.
Yeah, there is some items out there that are like the named items for like the disruption, like missile disruption or tracking
Hmm.
disruption ones that are like nobody was putting them up on order or anything like that. When they are on order, they're like 3,000 times more expensive than what they're actually supposed to be, because you can get them at like 6,000 or 9,000 or something like that, if you go to like Jitta or any of the local markets, like, because the way that it is, it's mission runners that are getting these items out there, so it's actually
Hmm.
really cheap that you can get them for, and then you can resell them for unbelievable markup of profit. The biggest one that I have done is a 10 times markup, where I'm buying them at 6,000 and I'm selling them at 60,000 isk.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And it's a low amount, like it's 60,000 isk, like that's but after hundreds and thousands and millions of these items being sold, I will eventually make an insane amount of profit off of that. And it's all about time. The thing about Eve is time. Once you understand that if you just wait 3 months, you're much more likely to get a deal on something if you just ask for it for a really cheap amount, better than what other people are asking for it, and it's a frequented item in that area. Either it's a trade hub, a mission hub, or a combat hub like Hades is.
Hmm.
You know that somebody's going to sell it, and so somebody's going to buy it in 3 months. So I've cast a fairly wide net on this stuff, because I've got all the different fittings that I'm trying to, like, I want to have at ready available to pump out like 20 or 30 ENIs if I want to just build 30 or 40 ENIs. I want to have that, so I'm just building up this big mound of items, and then also putting them on the market, and then also asking to buy them as well. So I've got like a mound of items that is just being taken money, or that's just being recycled through, and hopefully it's just going to make me ISK, which it so far has made me a lot of ISK, and I've only been doing it for a couple weeks, so.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the ways to do it. So, yeah. I I haven't been that good on the market. I've made money, especially if you find something that's got a need. Like, I had that here when we had the HQ. There was a lot of shield modules that weren't on the market here because we fly a lot of armor ships and not shield ships, but people do fly shield ships here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just found out that there were a lot of specific, shield boosters and stuff like that just weren't on the market. So I found them cheap, and I bought a whole bunch of them, put it in a ship, and brought them and sold them out
Especially
of
those
HQ,
named
and
ones.
made a really good profit on that. And it was just a matter of, again, just filling the need. Like, I knew I needed one, and they didn't have one. Well, hey, guess what? Go buy a whole bunch and bring them here, because maybe somebody else needs them too.
Yep, and
And they did.
I'm trying to
So
make
I made a lot of
documents
money
on
that way.
that as well. So that's been a lot of fun, and getting
No,
that
so
set
go.
up is actually interesting, because I've never really done that before. So I'm
So is that
trying.
what you're doing with all the wormhole stuff? Is using
So
it for marketing, or?
no, so the wormhole stuff. So continuing that story, Coder has been kind of out of the game for the past few years. Like,
Hmm.
he might come in and check in every once in a while. He lives out of Hain, which is this weird low sec system, that's surrounded by high sec, that's surrounded by low sec, that then is surrounded by high sec. and a little bit of Losec to a side.
Yeah.
So it's this
Yeah.
like weird island in an island in an island type kind of thing. And so I'd found this thing, and we'd run level 3 missions out of it, and we took over the Pocos when they first came out. And we got our Poco. We had like that system for probably like 2 or 3 years that was under our control. It was this weird, like, cool little area of Losec that we had kind of taken over. We had done all these kind of crazy things. So he's been hanging out there and just kind of chilling. Not really doing much at all. He got really pissed off when the probe scanning changes came in a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. And that started his path of becoming a bitter vet. And so he was just like, everybody does probe scanning now. It's bullshit. Like, I was the only person doing exploration within like 20 jumps. Like, and now everybody is doing fucking exploration. It's annoying. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
That was my game.
That does kind of suck now with
different.
the change with the daily rewards. I don't know if that's as intended, but now that everybody has the same rewards, if your reward is to scam down 2 wormholes or to scan down 2 like data sites, now you got everybody in a system is trying to scan down those same 2 data sites. And so if you're not one of those people that are willing to leave that last piece of carbon in one of the boxes, then to keep the site up, then nobody else can scan them down. So that's the problem with that scanning change. Just when you brought that up, I'm like,
it's an
now you can't
interesting
find this
concept.
stuff anywhere.
Yeah. He got kind of pissed off about that, and there was just other, we went really hardcore PvP for a lot of us, and then a lot of my friends have dropped out. Pretty much all of my friends have dropped out of EVE at this point.
They grow up, mature, become losers. Yeah.
Well, they always come. I mean, everybody comes back for like, they'll come back for 3 months, right, and then drop back out, or Coder like restarted resubbing, he'd come back on and stuff. But I was like, dude, let's just every Monday let's get together and let's do some wormhole diving like back in the day. Let's just get together. We can, if it's both of us, we can do more higher level sites. We can have more fun. We can maybe get into some PvP and win because there's 2 of us, and then we're not just, we will probably still lose, but 2 is better than 1, right? So,
yeah. Well, now they even have the weekend passes, so you can pay $4 and play for 3 days and get 50 plex out of it.
Yeah.
And if you're like, all right, well, even if you did it every other Sunday, it's gonna cost you $8 a month for those 6 days. So that's, I don't know. I've used it for my alt, and I enjoyed it. I was like, all right, I don't want to, or my Omega or my Alpha character. Like, I just need her to be Omega for like a day. And that worked out well. So
Liberta says that during the Capsuleer events, they went through Losec to get relic sites when they needed one.
Yeah.
So,
you had to. I did the same thing. I was in your Vanguard to like try to scan stuff down, hoping Samson doesn't kill me, because I'm like, oh, I want to get my my thingamajigger.
Yeah.
So.
So the whole idea was just to kind of go back, because he does 3rd shift as well, so he gets off of work at like 7-8 o'clock, and so we were like, let's do a 9 o'clock. You'll get off of work on Monday, morning, and I want to get up early in the morning, and we also want to make a video game together. So we're making an RPG using RPG Maker.
Yeah.
And that's been a lot of fun. We have really stepped it up, and I really like what RPG Maker has. We've learned how to make quests. We've learned how to like build cities. We've how to make storekeepers, all that kind of stuff, just to get like the basic RPG out there, and how to have like branching quest lines. Like, that'll be like my one thing that I kind of want to have in the game is like everybody's fightable. So if you go to like the merchant, you can kill the merchant, and if that happens, then everybody in the city like will start attacking you and stuff like that if you try talking to them. But But you can,
Wicked killer.
you can go around and become like a murderer, and then also that you can like recruit a lot of the people as well to get them into your party. But just to have weird stuff like that. There also might be a poop and pee meter that we might make. Like every step that you take,
Just
fills up a little bit of a poop and pee meter that eventually you have to like alleviate yourself, or you have minuses on your character, and then like you might poop and pee yourself, and then and then you have to get like your clothes cleaned. There'll be restrooms in the game. You notice that most RPGs, they don't have a bathroom.
like none of them do. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. There's a YouTube group that they do a lot of like NPC character like spoofs and stuff, and that's one of the things too. Is like, hey, where's the bathroom at? And
So we're working on this game, and the idea is basically that he's been doing some streaming as well throughout the last 5 years or whatever, but hasn't really gotten into it. I'm like, we'll work together on building up the stream. We'll eventually, we're right now kind of more in the planning phases where we don't want to stream the creation of the game, but working on the game, one of the things we want to do is every Monday we'll do like a few hours of Eve, and then we'll do like a 4 or 5 hour like stream session of making our game, and then streaming the making of our game. And so that's how it all kind of got started. And so it was like, he likes wormholes, it felt like Eve, like the last time that, Eve always feels like Eve, but there's this weird special thing of like back in the day kind of feeling, the nostalgia feeling of Eve, where I was doing PvE just to do PvE and have some fun. And we went into a wormhole, this was last Monday, we went into a wormhole, and we were flying about. We had scanned down 2 relic sites to do that had a bunch of sleepers that we had to kill, and they were really, really rough this time. And we had 2 Ishtars. We tried taking these sleepers down, and we were having a rough time. We were having to warp out, warp back in, like repair up, like like we were being overwhelmed by what was there. But just kind of still, we could have probably gone and got a different ship or something like that and strategized it out more, but we were just like, fuck it, we're here, we're just going to do this. Like, and so we're working down this site, and then all of a sudden, while we were going back and repairing, because we had to do a repair trip, there was a Tengu that appeared. We were like, ooh, interesting. So like we kind of got set up a little bit more to make sure that we had PvP modules and that we were both set up for PvP just in case it was going to come. And we went back and we were like, okay, so maybe we'll try and find this guy too. We were thinking about different things that we could try and do in order to try and fuck with this guy, and we couldn't find him after a while. So we were like, maybe he's gone, we're not sure. And so we go back to running the relic site, and we're like, it had to warp out because I had almost died, and we're at like the very last 2 battleships that are left for the sleeper site, and then we can go do all the cans for the relic stuff or the hacking stuff. And when I warp out, I hear Coder go, oh, there's an Ishtar, or there's a Tengu that just decloaked. And I was like, go ahead, try and warp out. And so he warps out, and I was just on my way back to him at this
just to
point.
land on it, yeah.
So I landed right on top of the Tengu. I was at 30% hull, I think I had left. I had my armor upper going for a little while, so I had about like 30-40% armor, maybe a little bit less than that, but both those numbers I think I'm actually less than. But so I had very, very little amount of health left. So I scram and web him because I know he's gonna scram and web me, so he scrams and webs me, prevents me from warping. Coder had warped out. He's got full health. And I'm like, okay, I'm probably dead, but like I'll let you know how things go here. Let me know when you land and align back out to me, basically. And so he lands, and I'm not dead. Like, and I'm like hitting this Tengu pretty hard, but I need to do way more damage in order to bring him down. But I can tell that the NPCs are also helping out a little bit with this. But he's just not doing damage to me. And I'm like, what is going on here? Okay, I'm not sure. But I was like, Coder, come back in. Like, you know, I'm not, like, by the time it took you to land, turn around, he had not killed me, and he should have, like, if I should just be dead right now. Like, most encounters in PvP, if I had 30% haul and 30%
especially if you set up for
armor,
holes, you know.
Yeah, and he's gonna be trying to, like, he's PvP fit, so he's gonna, like, be super badass.
He's gonna have,
like,
you know, heavy assault missiles.
Right, heavy assault missiles with Dram and Web, and I was like, this is bad. And all of a sudden, Coder comes back in. We kill the guy. We finish the site out, and I like hit him up, and I was talking with him. So he kind of panicked a little bit and kind of got a little bit of a spot braid. He saw us from. He's a resident of Hain, so he saw us leaving Hain going into this wormhole. He thought that we were coming after him. He was just doing some prospect mining. And so, like, so he went and, like, sought us out, and then tried to, like, he was like, I knew the site was going to be ending soon, which I don't think he understood that this was a relic site, so we still had a lot to do after we had killed the NPCs. It would have been a much better time for him to come in. But even then, he had made a huge mistake that I don't think he realized until I pointed it out, was that he was kinetic. He was kinetic for his damage type. I had a 2% resistance to kinetic damage.
So he's trying to use the bonus of his ship, not realizing that's not going to help him at all with what you're bringing to the hole.
Oh, is the Tengu? I thought the Tengu wasn't.
I think the Tengu is set
Is
for
damage
I'm
locked?
looking it up.
It might depend on the subsystem, but I thought that, like, the assault missile, like.
Yeah, maybe I'm just thinking about my Tengu. So, I thought I got a bonus.
Maybe you're right though. So with my 92% resistance, I looked at his fit. He was doing, like, overheated, like 1,000 DPS. But at 92% resistance, he's doing 80 damage per second. Instead of 1,000, or what it would be.
Yeah, no, it's not damage.
200.
Yeah, it's not damage locked. It's just the way I have mine set up. Then it's just what I shoot. But again, I'm blowing up a specific rat, so makes sense.
But yeah, so we were able to bring him down. He had a bunch of he had like 400 million Iskin loot that dropped from him. You know, we got to finish out the site, and it was like it was just this really weird, like, Eve, like, nostalgia feeling that I got after that day. It was like we went out to lunch. We'd worked on our RPG game, and we just talked about the encounter, like, a bunch, you know, and just was like, he was like, he ran into a legendary Coder Fasteel frozen Fallout spawn in Hain that, you know, was transversing a wormhole, you know, like that, you know, it's just this crazy encounter that this guy had, and that we had with him, you know, like, that this is special, I think, you know, for both of our, because I think he did not, I think he really expected to be able to decloak and just slaughter me. And I expected him to be able to do the same. And it just didn't work out that way. And it was just awesome to go back out, have, you know, this away from everything. It doesn't, you know, it's doing this different thing in Eve where it was very PvE centric, but there's this PvE element in it. Whereas, you know, it's faction warfare is a large amount of PvP with a small amount of PvE element to it. It exists, it makes you money and stuff like that. But the emphasis in what we're doing is the PvE aspect and this wormhole diving and stuff that I find really interesting. I like the hacking game. I like, pulling in wrecks and having to, get, put out a tractor unit, pulling all the wrecks, salvage all the wrecks, go through, do all of the relic sites, do all the hacking and stuff like that. Doing all the fighting against these, pretty powerful fucking spaceships that you go up against in the wormholes. It's a lot of fun. And it was just nice to kind of have like a time in Eve now where I am focused on being, kind of doing my old school stuff with, and it's not about its efficiency at all. It's all about the adventure that we're looking for, and has nothing to do with how much money we can make, because actually we haven't made, besides killing that guy, off of the sites, we made some decent amount of salvage and blue loot, but none of the relic sites have given us anything cool at all. Like, and we've done like
that's
10
like
of
super
them.
sad.
And it's like,
you're not getting stuff for the new ship skinners.
Oh my god!
No new ship skinner shit. Sad. Oh, yeah, I loved getting loot. It's one of the parts of the game that I really enjoy is like looting. I love like when we're in a big fleet or whatever, and they're like loot the field. I'm like shit, yeah, like that's like my time to shine. I just love that, like, like box of chocolates. You're never gonna know what you're gonna get. It's just that opening up of the.
PvP is so awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna open
PvE...
up. What's gonna drop? What am I gonna get? I'm like, I don't know. I really liked it. So. And I got that, I think, from doing the PvE. I did a lot of ratting before I joined the WAR, and that's where I built my nest egg. I was doing that ratting, and I don't know. I loved dropping the tractor unit and grabbing the stuff, and then at the end of it, and just waiting till everything was done, and then going, okay, what did I get? Is there anything in there that
anything cool?
You're like,
especially if you got
something
a faction
cool dropped. I got some tags, or I got some.
Faction
just
spawn
rare loot,
that happened.
some faction, some weird faction stuff. I remember on one roam, I don't know if there was something going on in Eve, but they were what's it called? So there were nanofibers, but they were a faction, domination, something like that. They're like domination,
that sounds right.
Like domination faction fibers, and like that same day I had 2 of them drop, and they're like 60 mil a piece or something. And for me at the time, that was like almost all the money in the world. So, I think, what was I flying at that time? I was flying just a T1 Myrmidon.
Oh yeah,
yep. Oh man, I dumped. I think that thing cost me 80 mil, and I was like, that whole don't fly when you can't afford to lose, and I'm like, I can't afford to lose this, because it had like every penny in it, and so, but yeah, I love that, like that drop and that surprise of what we're gonna get out of it. So it's a huge part of the game. So I love the Noctis. I wish that they would do something to it that it made it more usable, that you could actually do that, where I could follow a fleet around and not be a liability, and literally just scoop loot for people. I would even give it to you when I was done. I just love to see that crap in my hold, to go, even the metal scraps, I'll take them. Carbon, I'll take it.
So much feeling of good hard work being done. Like,
I'm keeping space clean. That's what I like. So.
Yeah.
I love grabbing my sheet metal and scrap metal and sheet metal. I haven't found any sheet metal yet, but I'm gonna keep looking. Scrap metal and all that stuff. I don't know, because that's where I get on my trip from.
But yeah, so yeah, the war zone. One thing that we did say that we were going to talk about the war zone. So real quick.
Yes, we should transition to that at some point here.
The Aboon Onasikan front has been opened up now. So Onasikan used to be part of the Galente, and we had held it for a good little while. And the Kaldari had come back in, and they had finally been able to flip it. It took them, it was at like 95% for like 3 or 4 days or something like that. Like, it was a long time that it took them to actually come in and start, actually do the flipping of Onasikan. So that's now back underneath their hands. So Nissawa is no longer on the front line. And this is something that, we want to try and bring under our control is Notorious, so that is something
Yeah.
that is eventual long-term goal. I mean, to be honest, it's just a goal to have a goal, and I like Notorious, and the Notorious is, the jewel of Black Rise. I grew up
Yeah,
on
it's just that
Notorious
little dead end, that
recently.
little dead end system.
Yeah, it was a really good welcome home spot that I lived at for a long time when I came back to faction warfare. Um, and I really like to have that back. So we're gonna work towards that. But I don't mind having the war zone be on the front gates of Hades. So um, I'm more concerned about finding fights and stuff like that than really pushing for systems. But there's a little bit of if you got nothing better to do, let's try and take Notorious. And
Yeah, I have you flown with Set It or those guys recently? Because I went back up north, it looks like, and or at least that's. I ended up fighting with them like 2 weeks ago, and had a big brawl up there. But they've reclaimed that big pocket up in the northwest. Villarreal's back, and El Slavonin in that area up there, and I think they're trying to push into Oix, which is always just a slog.
yeah,
But
so up
yeah, they got
here,
that whole. Yeah, they kind of got that area there. But
yep, they've
again, it just whenever they do that, whenever they venture up north and kind of pull out of the south, um, it just you just have that the Fleet Abune, Schlagfest. It's just back and forth now, and like I said, we've taken them back, but for how long I don't know. They're Caldari are really pushing hard on those, but we've picked up a lot of other systems. We got Anato. We picked up,
Panelin,
and
yep.
I thought we were gonna get Aranako. We were up and doing battlefields in there last week.
71% is very close.
Yeah, we had it up higher though. It was over 80 last week. I thought it might go by now, but obviously they came in one day and just redid everything that we did the day before.
Yeah.
So it's just that back and forth.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
back and forth in this area. And I mean, same thing going on up here with Vivalier. Like, it's been pretty much that
mhm,
you get up to Vivalier, and that's where the stopping point is. You might get into Aldernete, but you're not getting into Nenemelia. You might get into OICX, but you're not getting into Iha. Um,
right.
and so
Hmm.
that kind of like does like a blockade here, um, where you kind of have a wall that's at about a Boone Fleet, and you have Devon Onasikin you might be able to take. You might be able to have Sujarento, Aranako, Nagamenon maybe, but it stops pretty much there. Like, you might be able to get Nisawa, but if you get Nisawa, it's a very short amount of time. Um, so
My hope, my
but
dream,
these
one
are
thing I
good
would love
battle
to see.
lines, to be honest. I like these battle lines. We live in
Yeah,
Vivalier, they live in Iha. We live in Hades, they live in Devon. Like, we live, in Fleet, and they live in Sujarento. And I think there's some people who live in, like, Anato and Tantalin and stuff, but mostly we come up this way.
well, I was hoping we get a third person. I don't know, somebody that comes into faction warfare on our side, of course, and if they wanted to camp out in the Halanan area, like right in the middle, that's a great system, and it's one we fought for in one. Noir fought for in one when we first got back into, or when we first got into Galente, because strategically you can jump from both sides of the war zone from there. So the whole war zone's literally a jump away from you. So if it's the right people can get into there. Some of the big boys want to come in with their big toys and take that system. They would have a good jump off point, and that's literally right in the middle of everything.
Yeah,
But
Hanalin.
I think, yeah, but I think until something like that happens, where we have just another big group to help balance the sides off, we're gonna kind of get caught in this push and pull in these little areas, which is fine. And again, I'm enjoying it. I love the hell out of it. I love the guys I'm playing with. You know, Kirk and Quinn, and that whole gang over there in Frog Pond and stuff. Um, I just love flying with those guys and want to keep doing that. So
Yeah, the Vivalier area has been really active as of late. Really good stuff
yeah.
up there.
I don't have a lot of stuff up there anymore, which is the problem. That last time I went, even in Abernall, there was not a lot of stuff in contract, and I don't want to have to fly out to, where do you have to go? You have to,
Stackmon?
Yeah, you have to go out to Stackmine if you really want to need something to. If you really got to get some ships and stuff together.
Yeah.
Which is a nice system. Like I said, Stackmine was my starting point, so
Yeah.
did a lot of stuff out there.
It's not the greatest trade hub, but it does have stuff.
Yeah, Wave 3 TV, yes, best system in New Eden is Natoros. We all know that.
Yeah.
So
And yes,
we are going to free Natoros. It is it's one of the Federation front lines doctrines. We are going to do that, or tenets. What do we want to call it? One of our go-to things. It's in our declaration. We will free Natoros and make Natoros free a democracy again.
Damn straight. Also, Skirt says that we need to let the Keldari flip Anato and make Tantalin a frontline system again, because he's got 69 billion ISK worth of assets that are locked away. So
yeah, I've got not quite that much. I wish I had 63 billion in overall worth. But Hazamajala, I got a bunch of stuff there from when we actually had Nagamon.
yep.
Yeah, when we were doing that whole push in Nagamon and all that. So, yeah, I left a bunch of ships. Both Nightflyer and Mango both have a stack of ships in Hazamajala. And we haven't had that system in over a year. Gotta be. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time since you've been able to dock in
Yeah,
Hazamajala. But I the one thing is you can dock with your pod now. So if you go with your pod, you can go dock there, and you can, if you have anything in asset safety,
right,
you can get that out of asset safety now, and then you can just contract without getting your clone there, or trade if you have your pod there. You could trade with your alt and move all that stuff out through an alt if need be. So, ooh, we got a hydrate request. So let's.
The only thing I have left is hard booze, but this is actually really good stuff. It's called Viking Blood.
Yeah, man, I like that.
I think you would like this. I don't know, and again, did I drink it on stream before? I don't know if it's a wine. It says it's something like it's a mead, but it's hibiscus and ginger. And my wife got it for me when she was up in Door County, Wisconsin, doing old people shit. And but this stuff is awesome. I love it. So yeah, good stuff. I think it's a wine. It might be a mead. I don't know.
It's
but
tasty. Is it red?
Yeah, but with
yeah,
it's kind of like it's like a rosé. It's it's a red white. So that was the thing that kind of got me
interesting.
Thinking what it is. I will probably drink of it a little bit later. I gotta get something to eat before I really start pounding booze.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Nightflyer not being in faction warfare or assigned to anybody, I am, I'm great at everyone. So I've been taking this opportunity to go and pull in all my stuff. I have stuff in. I didn't realize I had stuff in asset safety like all over. So I've been I spent about 6 hours flying around space just opening crates to go, okay, what's in here? Do I want any of this? Am I going to just scrap it, sell it, or am I flying it out of here? So I did a combination of that all over, just to trying to consolidate, trying to pull stuff out of wherever it was and get it closer to the Galente systems here. So again, I have access to it, but I've got a bunch of stuff that I moved out of the wormhole, sitting in just next to Old Man Star. So I got some big boy toys up in there too. So
nice.
I am kind of looking forward to pulling some of that stuff out. Although a lot of it is set for a C4 pulsar, so I'm gonna have to refit some of those things.
Reevaluate.
Yeah, I mean it's great when you've got that shield bonus, but without that shield bonus, you're just kind of a regular shield ship.
Yeah.
So. But so I got that. One thing I didn't realize that I did screw up on is when I did leave stuff in the wormhole. I didn't realize that. I had some stuff on contract that got left behind, and one of the things that my shipping alt left, she actually had a blueprint she left in the industry, and now I have no idea how I'm ever gonna get it. So I put something into cook, and it's like, oh, it's ready, but I can't claim it, I can't abandon it, I can't leave it, so it's literally got one of my spots like tied up. Now I've got like 6, so I mean I don't care that much, but someday I might. So I'm gonna have to figure out if CCP can do something where you can literally go on and say abandon. Like, no, I'm abandoning this job, I'm abandoning this print, I don't want anything to, I'm done with this. So
this is inside the wormhole, you said?
it's a wormhole. Yeah, it's in the wormhole, and since I'm not in the corp, I don't know how to get back to the wormhole. I couldn't tell you how to find it.
And even then, you wouldn't be able to dock, right? So.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Actually, 50-50 maybe, because one of the structures in the wormhole is a free port. It's the reef. I mean, that's what Noir's whole thing was. It's a wormhole free port, so everyone can dock there, everyone can sell there and ship there and buy there, and that's how it was all kind of set up. Now, it's not true for all of the structures in system, so I'm gonna have to say it's probably a 50-50 shot of whether I could even dock there. But I've got ships in there. Until the structure gets taken down or blown up, I think that's all just gonna sit there. But I've got a couple of mining ventures, prospector, that I accidentally left behind when I pulled out. But
yeah,
overall, but I've had, like I said, I've had stuff in Thera for a couple of years that I haven't flown, touched, or done anything with, and it's just a matter of like pulling all that stuff back around. But again, I've been just kind of enjoying that, being able to fly wherever I want and not be an automatic target for people worrying about it. I'm just neutral, so
yeah, it is kind of a nice feeling when you I mean, it's such a different flying experience when I'm flying my alt compared to my main, because I'm a fucking criminal with Frozen Fallout, so I can't go anywhere.
You can't even go into high sec.
I can't even go to low sec.
Well, we did that. Oh,
because I can get shot at gates with no gate guns going on to the, like whenever I'm in fleet and somebody, we're on a gate and it's like, oh, they won't attack, they'll take gate guns. Like, yeah, but they'll attack me.
Yeah,
because they ain't gonna take gate guns.
We went out on a fleet. It was a Galactic fleet. God, who was FCing it? Oh, my old brain just fucking is going in the toilet. But we were third partying out in Mimitar space. So I don't know if it was Snuff was taking out a structure or something like that, and I'm like, all right. So I just hopped in a ship and got an ENI and flew out there, and we just did that. And like everybody I was flying with was like, -10 standing. So every time we would jump, like trying to fly back into the Hades and stuff, it was just criminal. I'm like, oh, that's funny. But that was one thing I did with is I went and I fixed my
sex status.
Yeah, my sex status with everything. So I don't know, it didn't cost me, I don't know, a couple $100 mil, but not too bad. I'm a good boy.
Gotta pay off the cop.
I don't kill a lot of pods. But,
I kill pods all the time.
I like being that 0.0 or a little over. I don't know.
I like neg 10. That's neg 10, man. Might as well just get it fucking done with. I go hang out in the Amazon gate camp and I just, point and attack everything that comes.
Yeah, you can become -10 in an afternoon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that
yeah. A couple hours of gate camping.
I've gone from positive to -2.5 in a couple of hours.
If you don't hit pods, it's not that bad. But if you hit pods, man,
you gotta hit the pod.
I got a 7 billion ISK pod on my kill board right now.
7 bill.
Yeah, 7.7 billion istapod, and then another 4 billion istapod, and both of those come from. Yeah.
Oh, what happened? We lost the cameras on stream for a second. We're good.
That's because I pulled up the.
Oh,
yeah. I knew that was gonna happen. But...
Technology. What are you gonna do?
But yeah, so.
So you're having fun wormholes. I'm having fun being free for a minute.
Yeah.
Not playing Eve every day, but playing Eve every day.
Going to a boon and just fighting in a boon in Fliet and Devon and Onasikan has been really great. There's still a lot of fighting going on. Like you said, the Vivalier area is very active right now. Lots of good fighting to be had. I just kind of find it funny that, not too long ago, people were like, "Are you guys okay? You only have 3 systems left," and it's like, now we're back up to
3 systems we need.
Yeah, we were fine. It's also it's a pain in the ass to hold that much territory. When you're surrounded by the people that are, you're getting pushes from, and you're right on the doorstep of, and you have to move your, you have to do a forward operating base. Into your enemy, and it becomes a pain in the ass to live there and not in Devon or your or High Sec, where fucking Keldari live in High Sec. It's just weird. Whenever anybody says they live in Valorn, the Galente, I'm like, you're not a Galentian. You're not Gal Mill unless you get the fuck out of Valor. Come and live in Low Sec, man. Living in Taki. Oh my god. The shipcaster, what a bullshit. I'm glad people are using it though. I'm surprised that it actually is up. That people just aren't blowing up that structure every fucking second they've got.
I don't know. I think I've done a shipcaster once because I wanted to try it, but. I don't know. It really has had 0 impact on my gameplay right now, as far as I know. I don't know if other people are using them.
I think so. I think the Keldari are using it for sure. That makes it a lot easier for them to. They can avoid my gate camp,
Yeah. Well, I thought Intaki Market would kind of blow up a lot more than it has. I would have bet that. Just because of the shift capture there, and they're trying to make it kind of that HQ, that it would kind of maybe be take the place of Dodixie, but it hasn't. I don't know. I think that's kind of weird.
Maybe there's an opportunity there for you.
That's what I'm just kind of
thinking. A bunch of buy orders and sell orders, and buy low, sell high, and provide a whole bunch of needed items. People, if you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah, I played around this area quite a little bit because I actually was ratting out of Agamemnon and Jefficit. I just got Amy and Jeff. When I was doing a lot of the stuff with Eve Uni, because we'd take off from Amy and then we'd go into Oleta, and that's where we'd go into low sec, and then we'd just shoot through the pipes through here going up to Fallout and stuff. So that was. I bounced around that little area a bit. But yeah, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I'll throw a little alt over there in Taki and see if I can become the next Oz. The Oz of Intaki.
Awesome. Well, all right. I think that we have filled up a good solid episode worth of content here. Thank you all for listening and watching, and thank you for co-hosting Nightflyer. But anything that you want to throw out there before we wrap things on up here?
If you're looking to get into the mercenary life, Noir is a great place to go. They're great guys. You can hit them up at Noir Cafe in-game. If you want to get into faction warfare, Federation Frontline is hiring, and we'd be willing to take you under our wing and let you come do some faction warfare with us. But other than that, just fly stupid and shoot first and think never.
Yeah, I love it. Have a great day.